Say, feel that bass. We gon' shake up this place. Say, pick up that pace. Yeah, we got no time.
Welcome to the Together We Win podcast. My name is George Medina, and I have my lovely co-host CJ Walsh here next to me.
Woo woo, lovely. I appreciate that,
Georgie.
Georgie.
The reason we're so happy is because this past week we had a couple of achievements that we are very thankful for. One, we reached over 100 downloads, which was awesome, and we had our biggest 2 days. We reached 50 downloads in 2 days, so we were just rocking. So thank you for your support, right, CJ?
We appreciate you.
Yes. And today we have a special guest, don't we, CJ?
Hello, everybody. We're fired up tonight because we have a special barker.
It's not a dog. It's not Sponge McKenzie. I know you were. No, that's what you were thinking.
No, Georgie. Our guest. Yes, we have a guest. It's our first guest for our show.
Woo!
We're fired up about it.
Yes, we are.
This man is a director.
Oh my gosh.
This man is a musician.
Nice.
This man is an actor.
Oh wow.
This man is a writer.
Oh wow.
This man is one of my good friends.
Yes.
I've known him for over a decade. Please put your hands together for Geoff Erwin.
Welcome, Geoff Irwin.
Good to have you.
Okay, good. Hope I don't get COVID. How you doing?
Good.
Welcome, Geoff. Welcome, Geoff with the G.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be here.
Woo!
Excited.
Awesome.
It's going. Together we win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we know one of the reasons we brought you on here is because you're a man of many talents. And we can't wait to hear what inspires you, like how much you make a difference in people's lives. And we're just glad to have you here.
Thanks. Well, I'm happy to be here, fellas.
I just dig his long hair.
I know
Since COVID, he's gone long.
This is my coach.
Handsome devil. Handsome.
Yeah, it's because they closed the hair cutters, man. I can't get a haircut.
Good. Stylists. They're poor stylists. Yeah. Bring him back.
Well, one of the things I love about Geoff is that he's an award-winning director for short films. And two of those films were Sandstorm and Speed Dating. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, for sure. So, I for my thesis project for the LA Film School was this film called Sandstorm, which is it's a 12-minute short about a U.S. Army veteran with PTSD who can't tell the difference between being at home with his wife and 2 young daughters and the worst battle he ever saw in Sandstorm in Afghanistan. And I was really trying to get to that point that I think a lot of our veterans deal with, where it's like something so horrific happened, but they're so tough that they don't want to talk about it and kind of document a point of crisis or create a point of crisis for them where like it makes sense that they would actually seek help. And so that was kind of the point of the film, and it did really well at several different festivals, and won the best of Fest at the Idlewild Film Festival and some other awards. So that was really gratifying. And I got a lot of good feedback from veterans that was, like, wow, I really felt myself in that piece, and I could show this to my family to kind of explain what it is that I've gone through on some level. So that was super gratifying.
Yeah. Well done.
Thanks.
I did see it, and I did really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So well done, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then Speed Dating is just a funny, hilarious kind of romp through dating life in Los Angeles, where I play a bunch of different characters, and the girl always stays the same. So that did really well at the Sarasota Film Festival. And
You got another award for it,
Yeah.
and we're going to hand him another award because we're so proud of him.
getting a fake. This is
Congratulations.
A fake Academy Award.
He is a star is born.
Right.
He is a star.
Very exciting. Thank you, CJ.
You're
I
welcome.
really appreciate that.
It's from my heart.
It means a lot.
It's from my heart. But serious, it was great. I saw that as well.
Yeah, it's fun. It's got a bunch of views
laughs.
on YouTube and whatnot, and it's good. It's good stuff.
So,
Speed Dating. Go see it on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Check
Speed
it out.
Dating.
It's on the page.
So for people out there that, maybe they're trying to experiment in directing and things like that, what would your advice be on, like, I mean, I know you found the story and getting it from point A to point B was probably hard, but like, what would you do for those aspiring directors that want to make a film but can't see like the end because there's so many things to do? Like, what would your advice be to keep on going?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think first and foremost, the writing of the script is critically important. You know, you want to know exactly what you're doing and where your story's going. I also think it's good to do like a kind of a false edit where you just shoot a bunch of stuff really simply, not with all the equipment that you're going to rent later. So you just get your actors in a room and you shoot them going through the entire script so that then you have kind of a rough cut, even if it's just shot on your phone. Then you can go through and look at it and really dissect, oh, this moment really works, but this moment doesn't work. I really need something more here. For Sandstorm anyway, we added like, several different scenes to kind of depict what was missing to really create a more impactful story. That, and also for me as a writer, I think something that's critically important is permission, giving myself permission. Like anytime I'm writing a script or whatever story or even comedy, it's like at the top of my whiteboard, it says permission to fail, permission granted. And then you always have the last draft, because it's important to allow ourselves to just put it all on the table. And frankly, like, I think with anything that you're going to do artistically, the first shot at it is going to be shitty. It's going to be crappy. All right. And you have to
except for this show. But other than that, you're right. Except for this podcast.
Except for this podcast, which has just been
amazing. He's obviously joking. Obviously.
Oh no, you guys are doing great. I mean, I can't diss the show I'm on. That would be bad.
That would be. We'd kick you off.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
No, I think you guys are doing great.
Is his nose growing, George?
He's also a comedian, like we said.
Obviously, again.
I mean, you called me the wrong.
Right. Well, no. That's a good point. Let's get back to the truth, though. What you're for inspiring directors? You were saying have a really good script, right? You're saying the writing's a key.
Yeah.
You said to go out there and shoot some, not like just random shots, right? You're saying just like...
Yeah, I mean, I would say like have a shot list of things of the way that you would like to create the film or the project. If it's something that's going to be like a narrative fiction thing, then make a little shot list and then shoot those different angles.
Okay.
But
you don't need the actors.
Well, yeah, you need the actors. You do need the actors.
Okay, you need the actors.
But you don't need to hire the entire crew.
Okay.
And get everybody on all the special effects and makeup and whatever else if you're doing something complicated. You just want to get like a rough edit together that you can watch and then you can dissect and send it to other people and get other people's feedback. And then, to me, that's a really great way to work. That's the way that I work with pieces like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then the third main point was you want your whiteboard permission to fail. Like just let it out
when you're writing.
When you're writing. And I think that's so imperative. I think that's so imperative in life.
Yeah.
Permission to fail, because we want to be perfect and we don't want to make mistakes. But hey, being a human, you make mistakes. Permission to fail. Mm-hmm. Fail forward.
Yeah. Fail forward.
Fail forward.
I like it. Together we win.
Together we win.
And the thing is like, I think if you're like a student and you're going to film school, you know that you're not gonna. I mean, I feel like people always think they want to build a big Oscar movie first, and that's where they're gonna get to without, going from the bottom to the top. But is that where you start? Is short films, and then you move yourself up, or where do you see yourself starting? If like for someone that wants to be a director.
I mean, of my, many Academy Awards that
many.
I've won.
We're lucky to have him here.
Exactly. He was at the Golden Globe last night, right?
He just got off his jet, obviously.
Well, I mean, honestly, yeah, I think that's a great place to start. Is either something small, and these days you can do so much on YouTube and just have little mini episodes of things and like build an audience based on what people really like. And then, and then from there kind of build your brand and what it is that you're trying to do. But I definitely think scratching your teeth on doing short films and short form content is a great way to go, because if it's awful, you're only wasting like a few minutes of people's time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's great, then it's great, and it's short, it's quick, and then it's a great way to garner interest in you as a director and creator.
That's awesome, man. And I know CJ wants to introduce the next thing you do, because I think if people like that, people that maybe want to be on Saturday Night Live or things like that, the next project you work on is something that, CJ, why don't you talk about that?
Like speed dating? Is that what you're thinking?
I'm thinking the Geoff Erwin Show.
Geoff Irwin Show is even better.
Yes.
Yeah, because he won an award for speed dating, and let's go to the Geoff Irwin Show, which I'm sure you are going to win an award here soon. I'm hoping.
That would be great. Yeah.
I've seen the Geoff Irwin Show. I think it's hilarious. Do you want to share any of those characters that you really enjoy in the Geoff Irwin Show?
I mean, I definitely could, for sure.
Well, why don't we give maybe a background of cause
what the show is,
and maybe
that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Let's start there.
That's a good idea.
So the Geoff Erwin Show it's a comedy news show. The idea is to highlight certain topics that people don't necessarily want to talk about, but would be good for them to know about.
Okay.
And then also just general sort of ridiculous comedy kind of stuff. And on the show as it stands right now, what we've created thus far is just a bunch of different animojis and animated characters. I hijacked the animojis from the iPhone.
Yes, you did.
And
which is hilarious.
I put them in the show
Yeah.
and added voices and kind of did some wizardry there in post to create a bunch of different shows. But the goal is to just enlighten people about about topics that we wouldn't normally want to talk about in a fun and comedic manner. So, we tackle organ harvesting in China and the protests that have gone on in Hong Kong, and, but then also we do meth gators,
Trump
and Trump, making fun of Trump and Biden, by the way.
Yeah.
In the same thing.
Yes, true.
So it's a fun little comedic experiment that now we're sort of pitching on a larger basis. The goal now is to do a fun sort of SNL-style sketch at the top, and then to interview somebody who's an actual expert in the field and get a little deeper on that, and then do some sort of fun improv with them. And then what I'm really kind of excited about is this idea in the show called Flip the Switch, where you take two people on opposing sides. Let's say a Democrat and a Republican.
That could be timely.
For example. All right. And then each of them gets 1 minute to tell, why their perspective is the best, right? And then the other person has to recreate what they said in that minute to their satisfaction.
Oh, wow.
And whoever does it the best wins.
I love it. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So to build the middle, because I think people are.
We need to have some middle ground. So
I'm concerned
polarizing.
We're gonna go
Civil
to
War. Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude. Really over politics?
I got a quick question, but I can tell George is chomping at the bit. This guy always has
for it.
questions. But where do you get your inspiration? For instance, how did you come up with the George Irwin Show? Did he just pop into that beautiful brain of yours?
The George Irwin Show. Yeah, that's
The Geoff Irwin Show. I do that, FYI.
Let's just say CJ has two really great friends, and they're both in the same room.
Yeah, until I get them confused. The names. It's so funny. I've been doing it for years. That's George, and this is Geoff.
That's right.
But I like to call him George and him Geoff.
The George Irwin Show.
Let's talk about the Geoff Irwin.
Let's talk
about the Geoff Irwin.
The inspiration for the Geoff Irwin Show. I think one of the best ways to make a difference is through comedy. I think laughter is an amazing medicine, and I think laughter and really being able to laugh at ourselves and at situations is what that's what allows for transformation in so many ways, because it breaks down prejudicial barriers and social barriers, and it just creates kind of like a state of permission for people where we can just kind of accept life as it is instead of being so righteous about everything all the time, which I think is where we all go wrong, myself included.
No, definitely. And I think that's where life is right now. The world needs a little bit of comedy. I mean,
100%.
You know, one of the things about, you know, like being Mexican, I'm just going to say it, being Mexican, that I have a lot of people that are my race and that are my friends and that are my family. And if the race is made fun of or anything, their pride gets in the way and they want to fight people and they want to get angry at people, they want to hate people. And one of the things I always said is like, you gotta laugh at yourself sometimes. I mean, sometimes people are just trying to make light of things, and then sometimes there's a time to be serious. And I think what's awesome about your show is that I feel it brings light to these things where I would hope people can laugh about it, because it's the perfect spot to do it. You're not doing it out in public. You're doing it for entertainment. I think you're doing a great job at it.
Cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
But like CJ said earlier, we're lucky because we have 4 people that are on the show besides Geoff today. And they want to talk about the show. And our first one, he's from the South. His name's Bubba. And, well, why don't you take it away, Bubba?
Well, hey guys, you know, it's really nice to be on the show today. I was featured in the Meth Gators episode of the Geoff Erwin Show some time ago because he was looking for somebody who could demonstrate how meth gators have cleaned up the swamps in Tennessee. Not only am I a big fan of gators, but I'm also a former meth user.
Oh, wow.
And so,
Can't tell.
you know, I have a lot of experience on all sides of the issue. And so I did a cameo appearance in one of his shows where I showed where the path of the meth gators and where they ate all of the algae out of the swamp. It was very good.
Are you on meth right now, Bubba?
I mean, I can't comment on whether or not I'm
Can't
on
confirm or
meth
deny that.
or I'm coming down from it. But do you guys have some coffee? Yep.
Wow, Bubba, that was excellent. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining the show, Bubba.
Yeah, Bubba, it's great to
bet,
have
it's
you.
my pleasure.
Take care of
Together
yourself.
we win.
Together we win. Thanks,
Yeah.
Bubba.
Go Meth Gators.
Woo-hoo. Well, let's see if we can find our next guest. I think this guy's named Bert.
Bert. Oh, yeah, Bert Nedderson. How you doing there?
Hey, Bert.
Great to fucking see you, all
Great
right?
to see you.
You're looking good. You're looking great.
Thank you.
All right?
I appreciate
Thank
that,
you.
Bert.
Yeah, very sexy.
How's the wind to see you, Bert?
Yeah, Bert.
Yeah, you know, Chicago's fine. You know, we got a lot of murders. People shooting each other left and right. It's a bit of an annoying kind of thing.
I bet.
Yeah, but, you know, it's good. It's the best city in the world. We got kielbasa. We got
who
lots
doesn't
of
like kielbasa?
You know, it's a great place to be.
That's
And you know, I was on the Geoff Irwin Show. I'm actually the chairman of the world's biggest douchebag awards,
That's right.
also known as the WBDA.
I don't know if you want to brag about it, but go for it, right?
And, you know, so I was on the Geoff Erwin Show because last year, all right, pre-mortem, Jeff Epstein won it. All right.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Before he was murdered or died or whatever the hell happened in that fucking jail that he was in. You know what I mean? We did a whole expose about different reasons why Jeff Epstein is such a profound and amazing douchebag.
He is an amazing douchebagger.
And
You
with
sure why? Maybe one reason why?
pedophilia.
Oh, yeah.
Sex trafficking.
That's
Let's
too.
talk about
That's
it.
too.
Yeah, right. Little girls and such. It's disgusting.
It really is douchebag.
You
So
got what he deserved. But at the same token, I wish he survived to actually face justice. Anyway, I did that whole episode. We had a lot of different terms that got identified, like douchebag-ishes.
That's right.
All right, douchebagability. All right.
That's a great
The
term.
scope of douchebaggery. These are all circumstantial things that contribute to one's winning of the world's biggest douchebag award. All right.
Well said,
Well,
Bert.
we're proud to have one of the biggest douchebags out there on the show.
Yeah.
Look, if you guys have nominations for next year's awards, all right, I'm fucking taking them. Call me up.
Well, thanks, Bert.
Yeah, great to see you, man.
Be careful of the Windy City there, Bert. Stages out there. All right. Well, we go to our next contestant, or our next guest. Is that Fernando
Sí.
from Puerto Rico?
Sí. I'm Fernando. from Puerto Rico, you know.
How's your love life down there, Fernando?
It is very exciting for me. Very exciting for me. The ladies of Puerto Rico are among the best ladies in the world. You know, they love to dance with the salsa. They're very sexy. It's a very nice island for me.
Do you have any dating tips for my friend CJ over here?
Yeah, I'll take dating tips for sure.
For you to tackle them.
Like literally tackle
For
them.
you to see the ladies.
See, ladies, see.
Run at your fastest pace.
Oh, I like this.
Leap into the air.
Okay.
Y tackle.
Tackle, like football.
See, very much like your American football.
Okay, yeah.
Did he get arrested for this?
Not in Puerto Rico.
I'm about to go to Puerto Rico, obviously. Okay.
Perhaps in Puerto Rico too. You know?
They ain't the 51st
You need to
state
be more
for nothing.
suave, you know?
Or
You
suave.
need to show your guns.
My God.
You need to take your shirt off. Walk around with your shirt off. You show your machismo, you know?
Okay.
Very good for you.
Man up. Got it.
Very scary.
Fernando.
Well, I appreciate you taking time away from your dates to come on the show, Fernando.
See, too many ladies for me. It drive me a little crazy, a little loco, you know? But it's okay for me to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
And, you know, our last guest comes from the Far East. And he survived the coronavirus. And we welcome Hung.
Your choreography is terrible. I'm Hung, the Hong Kong Dragon. I talk a lot about Carrie Lam and her false erection. All right. Where she was erected by the people, but not erected by the people. She's a puppet for Beijing. Beijing very bad.
Why are you so mad?
Because President Frankenji is doing organ harvesting in Xinjiang, China. He very bad. And he don't pay attention to coronavirus. He very bad. Very bad.
Well, I appreciate you coming on to this communist nation, letting you come on our show.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
It pays to be a dragon. You know, because you can fly here and no one can stop you. I don't even wear a mask.
Why don't you wear a mask?
Because I breathe fire. No way for a dragon to get coronavirus. You try to give me coronavirus, I burnt you to crisp.
Well, we better let you go back to the dungeon before you
Before we get
fire
burnt to a
on the show.
Thank you, Hung.
Thank you,
We
Hung.
appreciate you.
My pleasure.
I just want to give an applause.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was awesome.
Well done. Geoff Irwin.
Geoff Irwin.
Not George.
He graduated
Geoff.
from George Irwin to Geoff.
That's a win for
That's
me,
it.
folks. It's a win for me. I got his name right. And I've known him for 15 years.
Maybe it's the GEOFF.
I think it's the
Then you think
GEO.
GEO
George Jeff. I think
and
that's what
then
it
he's
is.
JORGE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then there's some confusion.
There's some
there.
confusion. There's
Like
yeah.
we should have.
You should like the
different
G and the
spellings.
J. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, but you know what? What I love about this is I think one of the hardest things to do, I would think, is to come up with like voices on the spot.
Yeah.
And even when someone asks you to be funny, even because they know you're a comedian, I think that's still hard. So like,
Yeah, I agree.
like, you know, what would you say, like, going through this comedy and the different things you've done in comedy, what would you say the hardest thing is? And like I don't know, like what I would think being a stand-up comic could be hard.
Yeah, I've done some stand up. I endeavor to do a lot more of it. Stand up is really it's a challenging thing to do. I've also did the Groundlings program. That's the improv is just great. That's a lot of fun, and it's a really fun way to like just put yourself out there, put your ass on the line, so to speak.
Yeah. Aren't you scared? Just line up
Yeah,
the
but I mean,
butterflies.
it's so fun once you get in there,
once you start.
And I'd say like the scariest thing is when you're stuck focused on yourself.
Yeah.
And then you're worried about what am I going to say and are they watching me? Like you really in all of the comedic art forms, you really have to, and frankly like also acting and also performing and doing music, like you have to figure out a way where your focus is on either on the other person that you're doing the scene with, if it's improv, then it's all about them, or on the audience,
Okay, that makes sense.
The scariest thing is when you're stuck in yourself and then you're bombing, and then that's the worst fucking feeling ever.
I'm laughing because I think that's our show, really. Because CJ and I are like the most perfectionists, right? Like we want to be perfect, or else
we start over.
Listen.
And then we start over again.
Right? And I think what's awesome about you is because I felt like there was times when you were doing your impressions right now of those people where maybe you were in your head, but you went through, and I think that's the hard part because
I was bombing for a minute. Yeah.
Because the hard part is like keep it going because most people in life they'll just quit and they'll just say I suck and then I'm bad, but like that's one of the qualities I think that is inspiring by you is that you just keep it going. And it's funny though. Because I think you end up being funny by keeping it going than if you were to stop and say, oh my God, I suck. I should stop and we could do another take about this,
Oh, yeah. Can we do that?
No,
I didn't know that was a fucking option. We can rewind.
I think you both hit the nail on the head with, like, keep going and obviously get out of your own way. Like, get out of your head. Yeah. When you're playing off another actor or a comedian, or if you're playing off the audience, it gets you out of your head and your skin, and you get to focus on them, and then your true brilliance or your true comedy, whatever it is, will come out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
And now we can do that for life.
Yeah,
let's get out of our own way.
Yeah,
and get out of our own heads.
Yeah, I think to me, I think the backdrop of humanity for some stupid fucking reason is that I suck, or like we suck, or that there's something wrong here, there's something wrong with me.
Right.
Like we're just, for whatever reason, we're just built to be self-conscious and like negative.
Yeah. A negative self-talk. Like
we
were inherited.
Yeah. It's like an inherited conversation. Exactly. To like suppress ourselves or not be fully free with who we are. So I think that's part of the thing to get over is to just...
But what I think
also just to get to a point where you just don't give a shit.
But that's what I'm saying. What I think is crazy is that, look, we've gone over your directing. We've gone over your comedy. Yeah. And we're moving on to music. And I think you're everything you're tackling, you have to be vulnerable at some point in all this. And I think that's one of the toughest things to do. And I think that's, for me, I think you're crazy. You're psychotic by using a little bit of both. By picking all these three things that you're actually really good at.
Yeah.
But you can't be about you in these three things. You have to be about others, and you can't like if you're on the stage playing a guitar and you hit the wrong lyric, you can't just stop.
Keep going.
On the stage telling a joke, you can't just stop.
Yeah.
I mean, doing a movie, you can't just rewrite the whole movie because you suck on one part, right? So you picked all these three things where you can't just stop. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy to me. Like
I never thought about that.
I think he's got some giant cojones, but I think to do acting, comedy, and music. Woo! Spotlight's on you, Erwin.
Yeah, I hadn't really considered it like that before. Now that you mention it, but I can't really explain myself. I mean, I've always been interested in all those things. My mom is. She's a playwright. She writes musicals, and she's also an amazing singer. And she writes children's musicals and stuff. So she's like a huge inspiration for me. And she's also funny. My grandmother her mom used to walk around doing funny voices all the time. So I kind of grew up around that. My mom did funny different voices, and like my sisters would animate stuffed animals and do different voices for them and entertain me as a kid. So I think all those things kind of fed into me. And I think there's something different that you can say in all those different realms. If it's acting or if it's comedy or if it's music, you can touch people in different ways and get a different message across with each of those things, even though they're very different. So.
I have a question for you, and I think I've asked you this before, but do you have a favorite of those 3 or 4, like the acting or the writing or the music or the comedy, or do you just love it all and so you just keep practicing it all?
Yeah, I think I love it all. I mean, there's a different thing that I get out of each one of those things, and I think part of my goal is to break down the barriers in myself that keep me separate and keep me safe and keep me like kind of stuck in my own way. And then like I have a sincere passion to like, you know, bring people together. Like I really want for humanity to like get along and stop murdering each other.
You really do.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's a real desire. So there's something about that. I think there's a way for us to crack the code on like how it is that we communicate with each other. That's just more vulnerable and like puts ourselves, like me, myself, at cause in my life, you know, 100%. And kind of spreads that message to where we can just actually change the fabric of what it means to be human and how it is that we relate to each other and spread more love.
Yeah.
You know what I
Amen.
mean? We're so concerned with like money and bullshit.
And
toys that we can't fucking take with
and
us.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean,
have some love and forgiveness and acceptance.
Anybody on their deathbed's gonna tell you, God, I wish
I would have spent more time.
Yeah, I just wish I would have like what really mattered was like love and how I left people and you know.
Yeah.
So how do we illuminate that?
But I got to commend your parents because I think, you know, being a step parent or even being a parent, regardless of whether step or not, but the hardest part about life and being a parent is letting your kid be who they are without trying to control who they are. And it sounds like your mom did a great job as allowing you to be you, and that kind of sparked the creative side because I feel like my son likes to play basketball, I better like force it in down his throat or else he's not going to want to play, you know, he's not going to want to learn more. Where I feel your parents kind of just said, hey, be yourself and learn from us, kind of a different, which is an approach I as a parent pretty much, it's hard for me to do. So I commend your parents that, because I think they spark that creative side of you because they allows you to be who you are, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
You've got great parents. I've met them both.
Yeah, I think
they're fantastic.
I mean, it's interesting you say that. I'm the third kid, so like, and my sisters are like, they probably don't want me to say this, but whatever. They're like five years older than me. They don't care. Anyway, so you know, they were off at college for a lot of my upbringing, and my dad, when I was a little kid, was just working his ass off. You know, he was at the office most of the time. And yeah, I think my mom really did kind of let me just sort of be. And she was also like, you know, she's always there for me. But yeah, I think that's right. It was like the opposite of the helicopter parents type time back then. And then now, you know, my dad is older and we have not that we had a bad relationship with us growing up, but now we just have a really loving, open. I mean, that's one of the things that I think is so important. It's something that I got from doing Landmark. Is like, you know,
your relationship with your parents.
Yeah, my relationship with my parents, and like just owning like how grateful I am that they got me to 18 alive. Yeah. And then, you know, with kind of what you said, just the freedom to be myself. And so now, like, it's really important to me that there's nothing between me and my dad, and there's nothing between me and my mom. And I ask them periodically if there's anything, you know, and I mean, I don't remember the last time they said yes. So that's good. But like, it's, you know, it's really critical for me to just be able to just have nothing but love between my folks and myself. I feel like I owe them that, you know?
Yeah. And you know, it is together we win. So like, I feel like that's a good message.
Right. That could be our second main point tonight.
Your
relationship with your parents.
Yeah.
I mean, some love for your parents.
For sure.
Yeah. Accept them.
Yeah. I have so much admiration for both of them for what they've accomplished and who they are. And my dad was always, you know, my mom's, I would say that she hasn't changed that much. And I mean that in a positive way. She's always been really creative and supportive, and she's a teacher and she's a writer. My dad was really driven by his career and really into that and into the kind of being a, you know, sort of a genius.
Super successful businessman.
Businessman, exactly. And then in his later years, he has Parkinson's now, so he's just kind of become much more of just a loving guy. Like he really, not that he didn't have it before, but he really found his heart. And he's just like a
Teddy bear
hug kind of guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's one of the things now. I just a lot of times I'll play music for him. We'll FaceTime and I'll just sit there and play music.
I bet he loves that.
It's great.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
Everyone wins.
That's awesome.
He
Yeah.
likes it, and I get to practice. And,
Maybe that's a perfect transition.
yeah.
Would you be up to playing a little music for us?
Heck yeah, man. I'll play some music for you. You guys want to hear some death metal?
That sounds so lovely.
Let's do it.
Can I slow dance?
Maybe mix it with some classic soul.
But what are you gonna play for us?
Yeah, well, I was gonna play. I play a couple. You want like snippets of songs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
This song is 45 minutes,
Nice.
and
I'm gonna go get my pillow real quick.
He's gonna put "November Rain" by Guns N' Roses to shame. That was only a 11-minute song, but let me guess, there's a long solo, 40-minute solo in it.
good. Let's see. So this is. So I'm releasing another. I released a record in. Just to backtrack, I released a record in May of last year during COVID. Thank
wow.
God for COVID, man. I got
Exactly.
a lot of shit done.
Me too. Me too. There was a silver lining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super silver lining. I needed to be stuck in a cave, where you can't go to bars anymore.
Right. This guy actually did some good work during COVID. And I have to give this man props. He did 2 fundraisers during COVID. Very successful.
Yes.
And do you want to share real quick about that?
Yeah, so that was super fun. We released the record in May, and then shortly thereafter, we did our first benefit concert,
Yeah.
and that was a lot of fun. I got, I bought one of those drones,
Yeah.
$500 or whatever,
Yeah.
and flew a bunch of over Los Angeles and shot a bunch of footage during COVID, which is awesome. Like the 405 is empty.
And that's amazing. It won't happen again. Yeah.
And then I put videos. I made videos for each song, kind of behind me, and then I was in front of a green screen and playing in front of the green screen, and that was really cool. And the first concert we raised, I think, close to $5,000 for the. I mean, it's close to $4,000 for the First Responders Children's Foundation.
That's
All
awesome.
right. Well done.
Yeah, that's
I watched
great.
it. I had happy hour listening to him. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and then we did the second one maybe 2 months later, and that was for Code Green, and they're an organization that's all about the mental health of first responders, which is really like super critical. 'Cause
Yeah.
you could imagine every day that you go to do shit, it's the worst day of that
Yeah.
person's life,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you don't want to talk about it because you're a tough guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really love that group, and we raised over $10,000 for them. So we raised
Damn, that's
about
awesome.
$15,000 for 2 different.
Good job.
charities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
Awesome.
Right.
And we're planning to do another one. We just kind of have been waiting until I had some more music recorded, and I've been practicing more. So
So, like, first, like, just to get the audience, a little background of what kind of music do you play? What would you call it? And what kind of, like, are you like singer-songwriter kind of?
yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I've been writing songs for a really long time, and then I got more serious about it a few years ago. I'd say it's kind of folky pop kind of thing, sort of like James Taylor if he wasn't that good at guitar.
Now that's some confidence.
That is awesome. I can't wait to hear.
That kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a couple of. Well, "Stop Killing" is a song that I did that I
I
can't.
enjoy Stop Killing.
Yeah, we're releasing a video of that. That's pretty awesome. That's kind of a funky, pop-ish song. That should be coming out soon. The video turned out really great for that. But this is
I agree. I saw that.
this song is it's called "Nothing Is Real," and it'll be on the new record whenever that gets released. Hopefully the next couple of months here. It's a big part of it.
nothing is real, why do I feel so much love for you? If nothing is real, why do I feel so much love from you? I've known myself to be in this mystery is always one thing. At the door I lost the key to the room where life was free and easy. Now the world is upside down, rivers of my mind now overflowing. I lost my sense, I lost my crown, and the need for always go. If nothing is real, why do I feel so much love for you? If nothing is real, why do I feel so much love from you?
Very nice.
Love it.
Loves it.
Yeah, well done.
Thanks.
So, like, inspiration from that song, you care to share, or is it personal? Or
It's about robots.
I figured that. No emotion at all. I felt no emotion during that song.
It's like artificial
Yeah,
intelligence.
it's robot love. Alright.
Oh, man.
No, I think that song kind of came to me. The chorus really came to me. Sometimes that happens where I just hear like a melody and then the lyrics kind of just come naturally. If nothing is real, then why do I feel so much love for you? I think originally the lyric was different than that, but then I changed it. But the idea is, if nothing is real, then why do I feel so much love for you? If nothing is real, then why do I feel so much love from you? So like there's an idea of reciprocation of love, and it's not just, it could be romantic love for sure. I mean, you could play it at your wedding if you wanted to get married.
I know why he's looking at me. I have no idea why he's looking at me.
Already.
Ah.
You're not. By the way, single and swinging.
He is always promoting me.
That song will be an oldie if we wait until it gets...
Excellent point by George Medina. These guys are doing, they're razzing me well tonight.
But yeah, I mean, like could be that, but also could be just like, you know, how you feel about your family or your friends, or
That song was really for me.
No, well,
I mean, what you're saying, Billy, is like we make our own interpretation of music, and that's why probably writing music is awesome, because you can write it for a reason, and then CJ and I have different reasons to.
That's right. So you can have your own interpretation. I think for me, one of the things about like love songs is like I think there's enough amore love songs to for the rest of time. Like romantic love songs. They're great, and you could keep writing those. Those are great, but there's not as much. If you look at the Greek forms of love, amore, right, is romantic. Agape is love for the creator, and then amiki is love for your like fellow man and your family and stuff like that. But those are the things, those two forms of love are the ones that I think are severely lacking in our culture and in our world, and people are like, he's talking about love again. It's like,
That's the funny part is like
you're missing out on what life is about.
Sometimes
It's our third main point.
Sometimes you hear like a
Yeah.
Christian song, which is love about God, and people are like, "This is I'm sending this to my wife because it's love about that." But the person was singing to God, but you interpreted you're singing to someone you love. So
Right.
So I think that's awesome. And hearing your music, like from your other album to this album, I think you do what I think you do well is that I think you leave the song to interpretation. It's not like something that I love this girl and I wrote a song to this girl. And I think that's what's awesome because there's not a lot of music like that out there right now.
Yeah. Cool.
You want to share one more?
Sure. This is one we haven't started recording yet, but based on our previous conversation, I sort of feel like it's a good. Okay, here we go.
Time when my heart did sink down in a pool as I sat and watched it shrink. Then my soul did drift into the dark like I wandered off a cliff. My mind went blank, couldn't recall who I am or whom to thank. Oh, the fear of it till I found that place where I just don't give a shit. This is all there is. All there is this. This is all there is.
Loved it.
Thanks.
That was great.
Well, we appreciate you sharing this music and stuff, and like we also want to like promote you. So
For sure.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna put his shows, links to his shows in our bio, and also where could they hear your previous album?
Yeah, so the What's Right record is on iTunes and Spotify and all of the places. It's called What's Right. And there's some great songs on there and a bunch of stuff that I did previously. Stop Killing's on there. That video will be out hopefully this week. Yeah, so
Where can they find you on social media?
Geoff Erwin, EOFF, ERWIN. And I think it's that on Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, all the things. YouTube. Geoff Erwin Show. There's a page there.
Do it.
Do it. And by the time this podcast comes out, I'm already going to post a couple of his YouTube videos on the Geoff Irwin Show, so you can get a little prepared for this podcast. But yeah, we just love having you.
Thanks for coming, Jeff. Great to have you. Talented man right there.
We usually share like good things, that happened this week, but I think we can both agree is having Geoff Irwin on the show.
Yes.
So yeah, man. We like to end
With
our show with our traditional high five. Perfect, guys, for listening. And part of the Together We Win movement is we want to share other shows that podcast shows that are inspiring people around the world. And I'm going to play this trailer for you right now. The podcast is called Start Small. It's by Lilly Donnelly, and she basically talks about inspiring the world. So stay tuned for that trailer, and thanks again for listening. We'll see you next week. Woo-hoo!
With over 7.5 billion people in the world, fascinating stories become lost in the timeline of generations. My name is Lilly Donnelly, and Start Small was a podcast created to connect our similarities through investigative journalism. You can check out Start Small on Spotify and iTunes, and follow us on Instagram at Start Small Podcast.